Hey guys, welcome back. I've had a lot of requests from you to do a video on how to raise chicks or how to care for chickens. So I thought I would give you guys kind of a brief how-to and show you my chickens. Now these guys are about a year old. We got them last spring. And I know a lot of you guys have got chicks in your local feed store. So I'm gonna give you guys a brief rundown of what to do with those chicks once you bring them home and what our setup looks like now. So there's really three main things that you'll need when you're bringing chicks home. First of all, you're gonna need somewhere to put them. We usually do a crate system, so like a large Sterilite tub. We usually take that and just cover it with some chicken wire, throw a rock or a brick on top so you can make sure they're not getting out. And we like to do cedar shavings in the bottom just because they're easy to change out. When they're really little, you can put some either paper towels or like newspaper over the top just so you've got a really flat layer. And since chicks are so small, they kind of have a hard time, differentiating between food and their bedding. So I think having a flat layer on top of the cedar shakes is really good. The second thing that you'll need is a heat lamp. It's really important that chicks are able to stay super warm, especially if you think about how they would be in nature. They'd be right up under mama and they would get really, really warm. So when you're trying to mimic that and raise chicks indoors, you're gonna wanna have a heat lamp pointed directly down. We put them just straight on top of the chicken wire on their little crate. So you wanna make sure you have the lamp on one side of their crate and they have room where they can kind of regulate their temperature. Most of the time though, especially when they're sleeping, they'll be huddled right under that lamp. I believe the general recommendations for temperature as far as your lamp is that you can raise it or lower it 5 degrees for every week that your chickens grow. But if you're buying just a really cheap clamp lamp from your feed store, then they don't really have temperature adjustments. So what we do is just raise it a little bit higher up every single week. I'll go ahead and put some more information down in the description bar. You guys can get more info on that. But really just an inexpensive clamp lamp will do the trick. The third and final thing that you'll need for the chicks is a food and watering system. I really like the ones that just automatically refill because you'll notice the chicks will spill a lot of the water out into the bedding. And you also really want to make sure that it's not something that's big that they could fall into. Unfortunately, chicks are just not that smart and they will knock things over. They'll spill it, especially when they start to get bigger and they're flapping around. They'll knock them over. I really like the mason jar systems. It's got like a metal base. Those are really nice. You do have to change the water, I would say about twice a day. You want to make sure everything's staying really clean. They've got clean water. And then for food, I think the same thing goes. It's nice to have something that they can't spill easily. They also make those same kind of feeders where it all just cycles down. But really, there's a variety of things that will work. An old yogurt or peanut butter top, any kind of lid will work. I'm really impressed with the different types of food that they have at our local feed store now. You can find organic, non-GMO pellets. Usually for chicks, you're gonna wanna go with a starter. They're really high protein. You can find ones that are medicated and also unmedicated, so depending on your preference. We've always gone with unmedicated and never had any loss with our chicks. But lots of options. For our older chickens, once they start laying, which I think is about 16 to 18 weeks, you can start giving them a different type of food and you can move from the crumbles to the pellets, which are great for, chickens that are laying. It has a good composition for egg production, but I really do like the pellets because you have a lot less waste when you're doing that, and once they're a little bit older, they're able to just pick up the pellets and you don't have like that powder dust waste that you would normally have. Other things you can start feeding the chickens once they're on that layer feed are like kitchen scraps, any kind of fruits, veggie, bread. You want to make sure that the majority of what they're getting is the pellets, but we definitely give them pretty much any food scraps other than meat. There's a few specific things like avocados you're not supposed to do, but I'll list those also down in the description. Other than that, I think it's pretty much it for chick care. We start bringing the chickens out when it's warm enough, it's not getting super cold at night. You kind of want to have that balance going from the heat lamp. Once it's 5 degrees cooler, 5 degrees cooler, then eventually it gets where you don't need to have them in the house. You can bring them out into your coop and you can put your heat light in the coop too and kind of transition them off there. So this is our chicken coop now. This is where they've been living ever since we transitioned them outside. You can see we've got a watering thing here. It's got these really cool droppers here, so all they have to do is peck on that and then the water comes out. It's nice, you can just refill it, and it's got a constant flow. I don't have to refill it as often and it stays fresh. They've also got a little walk up here. They can go up to their roost at night. Up here, this is where they sleep at night. Now in the very beginning, I used to bring them into their little house at night just to kind of train them that this is where they sleep, this is where they stay. You can see we've still got the same cedar shavings. I do have to change these. I would say if you want it to stay super clean, you want to do this like every week or 2 weeks. During like the colder season, you can do it less often, but especially during the summer, you'll want to do it more. Up here in the top, I've got their heat light that I turn on once it starts getting cold or it's freezing at night. Then I can turn that on. Even though our chickens are older, still you want to make sure they're staying warm enough. We've got a little dowel rod right here. Chickens love to perch, and they'll actually, like if you make a swing, I've seen a lot of people have little chicken swings. They'll hop up on there and they actually play, which is kind of neat. Now, one thing that I don't have, but we definitely do want to upgrade to, is an egg box. And that's kind of where the chickens can lay their eggs, and it's kind of separate from just their general sleeping nesting area, just somewhere that you specifically train them to do that. Eventually we're going to build one and have it on this side of the house. We just haven't done it quite yet. Well guys, I think that's pretty much it as far as what I can say about like how we raise chicks and how we're taking care of them now. If you have any specific questions, then make sure you leave those down in the comment section below and I will try my best to get back to you. One last thing that I did want to say about the chickens is they have been such great little pets. They bring us eggs, the kids are able to take care of them just tossing the food out in the morning, and they're able to help us more on our little zero waste journey too by taking care of the food scraps. And it's so cute just to see Kaylee come out here and she's got a chicken under her arm and carrying her around. It's just been really fun. So anyways guys, I hope you found it informative and I will see you soon. Bye guys!